Hello everyone, this is Preeti Shrivastava, Assistant Professor, IIMT College of Management, Greater Noida. So today I will discuss the topic conflict and what are the stages of conflict. So in this topic, we will cover the definition of conflict and then we will discuss what are the stages. So let us start with the definition of conflict. What is conflict? A conflict is a situational in which inacceptable difference in interest, values, expectations, and opinion occur in or between individuals or groups. It is an unacceptable difference. It starts prior to the, it is a first stage of that is conflict where the differences occur between the individual due to their value difference in values, due to their difference in opinion, due to the difference in their interest. It is a serious disagreement between two or more parties with opposing needs, belief, values, and goals. Now, there are 5 stages of conflict. The first stage is potential opposition or incompatibility. Then the conflict moved to the second stage, that is cognition and personalization. After that, the third stage, that is intention. And these intention change into the behavior. And after the behavior, there is the last stage, that is the outcome stage. And these all stages we will discuss in detail. Now let us start with the first stage, that is the incompatibility. The first step in the conflict process is the presence of conditions that create opportunities for conflict to develop. These cause or create opportunities for organizational conflict to arise. They need not lead directly to conflict. One of the conditions is necessary if the conflict is to surface. These conditions have been condensed into 3 general categories. The first category is the communication, means incompatibility can arise due to the communication, it can arise due to the structure, and it can be due to personal variables. Now, how the conflict can arise because of communication? Different words, connotations, jargons, insufficient exchange of information, and noise in the communication channel are all antecedent conditions to conflict. Too much communication as well as too little communication can lay the foundation for the conflict. If we communicate so much, then also conflict arise. If we communicate very little, then also the conflict can arise. And another source for the arising of conflict is the noise, the background noise, or if we are using so many jargons, or the information which we are exchanging is not complete, then the communication, then this is the reason for arising the conflict. The next is the structure. The term structure includes variables such as size, the degree of specialization in the task assigned to the group members, clarity, goal compatibility, leadership styles, reward system, and the degree of dependence between the groups. The size and specialization act as forces to stimulate the conflict. The larger the group and the more specialized its activities, the greater the likelihood of conflict. The conflict arises due to the size of the structure in the organization. If we have the larger size, there's more chances or there's a likelihood of the greater conflict. Now, the third one is the personal variables. Certain personality types, for example, The highly authoritarian personality and dogmatic individuals lead to potential conflict. Another reason for the conflict is the difference in their value system. The value differences are the best explanation of diverse issues, such as prejudice and disagreement over one's contribution to the group and the reward one deserves. So, these three variables are the reasons. The first one is the communication, the second one is the structure, third one is personal variables can cause conflict. Now, let's move to the second stage of conflict, that is the perceived label conflict. These parties must perceive conflict to it. Whether or not the conflict exists is a perception issue. That is the second step of conflict process. Conflict will not arise until unless one of the party perceive the conflict. So, in order to arise the conflict, it is necessary the party must perceive it that there is something wrong with the other side. If no one is aware of a conflict, then it is generally agreed that no conflict exists because competition is perceived does not mean that is personalized. It is the felt level when individuals become emotionally involved that parties experience anxiety, tensions, or hostility. So there are two levels in the second stage. The first one is perceived level, and the second one is felt level. Now, the third stage, that is the intention. Intention are the decisions to act in a given way. So, the intention intervenes between the perceptions and emotions and their overt behavior. There are 5 conflict handling intentions. The first one is competing. In this, there will be two parties. The first party can be the winner and the another party will be the loser. The second intention can be collaborating, means I also win and you will also win. The third one is avoiding. There will be no winner, there will be no loser. The fourth one is accommodating. It means I will lose and you will win. And the next is compromising. Here, both the parties will band for the situation. So these are also known as conflict handling styles and orientations, which are discussed below. Now, the first intention, that is collaborating. I win, you win. When each party to conflict desires to fully satisfy the concern of all parties, we have cooperation and the search for mutually beneficial outcome. In collaborating, the intention of the party is to solve the problems by clarifying differences rather than by accommodating various points of view. Example includes attempting to find a win-win solution that allows both parties' goal to be completely achieved and seeking a conclusions that incorporates the varied insights of both parties. The next is avoiding no winner, no loser. A person may recognize that conflict exists and want to withdraw from it or suppresses. Example of avoiding include trying to just ignore the conflict and avoiding others with whom you disagree. Now, the next is accommodating. When one party seeks to appease an opponent, that party may be willing to place the opponent's interest above his or her own. In other words, in order for the relationship to be maintained, one party is willing to be self-sacrificing. We refer such type of intention as an accommodating intention. Next intention can be of compromising. You bend and I bend. A situation in which each party to a conflict is willing to give up something. Compromising is about coming up with a resolution that would be acceptable to the parties involved. Here, the both party band for a certain thing. Now, the next is the stage 4, that is the behavioral stage. So, this is a stage where conflict becomes visible. The behavior stage includes the statements, the actions, and reactions made by conflict parties. This stage begins verbal arguments, verbal threats, and physical attack. So here the conflict comes into their behavior. The both parties act and give their reactions to the other party. So how they act or how they give the reaction by doing the arguments, by giving the verbal threats, and doing the physical attack. So in this way, they are giving their behavior. They are showing their behavior. Now let's come to the next stage, that is the outcome stage. So the action reaction interplay between the conflicting parties results in consequences. These outcomes may be the functional, positive, or constructive. In this outcome, where we are saying this can be positive or it can be constructive, in that the conflict improves the group performance. So stress type of conflict is a positive conflict. It is a constructive conflict because due to the conflict, the group is trying to improve their performance. And the second can be the negative conflict or destructive conflict. In this conflict, the performance of the group hinders. So here they are not showing the good result because of conflict. So there are some conflict resolution strategies. So some conflict resolution strategies can be, if we do the effective communication, then also we can improve the we can solve the conflict. The second can be the problem solving and decision making. Or the third can be addressing the conflict. Next can clarifying the issue causing the conflict. Bring the involved parties together to talk. And the next can be to identify the solution for the conflict. So in this way, we can solve the conflict. Similarly, there are some strategies which can solve the conflict. There are the 5 strategies. The first one is avoiding, which we discussed in the intention also. It means simply ignoring that which cause conflict. Competing is an uncooperative, overly assertive method. The next can be accommodating, in which both parties try to accommodate for the situation. So the next is our collaborating. In this, it is known as a win-win strategy. For example, a salesperson and client may work together to negotiate contract terms until the both parties find it agreeable. The next is the compromising situation. So these all are the strategies through which we can solve the conflict. So from this, we can say the conflict often is a byproduct when there is a human interaction. So responding professionally requires conflict resolution strategies. So when the dispute arises, the best course of action is to use the negotiate or to resolve the problem. So this is all about the conflict. Thank you so much.